It was a tense night in Romania as the first round of presidential elections took place. George Simion, the ultra-nationalist candidate, won by a landslide, gathering over 40% of the votes. It was when the exit polls came in that the actual tight battle for the second place was being fought between the government's coalition candidate, Crin Antonescu, and the independent candidate, Nicu Șordan, who is also the mayor of Bucharest. It was hours later when the votes were being counted and when the results finally came in that we found out Nicu Șordan is going on in the second round of elections on the 18th of May. Over 53% of Romanians voted in this first round of elections, both in Romania and across the globe. There are concerns that a vote for Simion might mean isolating Romania. It remains to be seen what will happen in the next 2 weeks. What will people choose to do when they go out to vote? What will they vote for? Whether European continuity or isolationism?
Israel has approved plans to capture the entire Gaza Strip and remain in the territory for an unspecified amount of time, according to 2 Israeli officials. If implemented, the move could vastly expand Israel's operations in the territory and likely bring fierce international opposition. Officials said the plan is meant to help Israel achieve its aims of defeating Hamas and freeing the remaining hostages. It would also push hundreds of thousands of Palestinians to southern Gaza, what would likely exacerbate an already dire humanitarian crisis. Israel has blocked the entry of all humanitarian aid into Gaza for 2 months and says it also seeks to prevent Hamas from distributing aid under the new plans. According to an internal memo sent to aid organizations, Israel wants to use private security companies to control aid distribution. The United Nations said in a statement it would not participate in the plan, saying it violates its core principles. U.S. President Donald Trump is now targeting films made abroad in the latest expansion of his ongoing tariff war. He has threatened 100% tariffs on international productions, accusing other countries of destroying Hollywood's film industry.
Hollywood is being destroyed. Now, you have an incompetent, grossly incompetent governor that allowed that to happen. So I'm not just blaming other nations, but other nations, a lot of them, have stolen our movie industry. And I'm saying if they're not willing to make a movie inside the United States, then we should have a tariff on movies that come in.
Trump also announced that he wants to reopen the notorious and long-shuttered Alcatraz prison, suggesting illegal immigrants could be detained there without trial.
And I guess because the judges, so many of these radicalized judges, they want to have trials for every single, think of it, every single person that's in our country illegally, that came in illegally, that would mean millions of trials, and it's just so ridiculous what's happening. And it's long been a symbol, Alcatraz, of whatever it is. I mean, you know, it's a sad symbol, but it's a symbol of law and order.
Bringing Alcatraz up to modern-day standards would likely be an expensive and challenging endeavor. It was shut more than 60 years ago due to crumbling infrastructure and high maintenance costs.
Once a new pope is chosen, the election is announced by a cardinal from the loggia of St. Peter's Basilica, who tells the world, "Habemus Papam," Latin for "we have a new pope." Now, before the new pope appears in public to greet the crowd, he will be dressed in white formal papal vestments. Now, we've come to a shop near the Vatican to meet the tailor who's preparing the new pope's garments and to uncover the secrets behind them. Let's take a look.
Sto preparando la veste talare, sto preparando la fascia già preparata, che è questa qua. Lo zucchetto già è pronto, soltanto la talare che mi ci vuole più tempo perché devo confezionarla. Cerco di fare 3 talari di 3 misure diverse, significa un cardinale oppure il papa un po' snello, un papa medio grosso e un papa grande come potrebbe essere Giovanni XXIII Poi quello che verrà fuori Dio solo lo sa.
Raniero Mancinelli has made robes for the last three popes, with each one having his own style.
Ognuno aveva le sue esigenze. Francesco, Papa Francesco, lui desiderava un tessuto molto leggero, molto economico, semplice, normale. E io seguo a fare le talari attualmente dello stesso materiale, leggero, normale, non costoso. Poi il Papa che verrà, se me le chiedono a me, e poi vedremo che tessuto gli piacerà e che tessuto vorrà.
The VE Day 18th anniversary commemoration started in London on Monday, with thousands lining the streets. A military parade near Parliament and Buckingham Palace began 4 days of pageantry. Around 1,300 British troops marched, joined by soldiers from NATO allies and Ukraine. King Charles III took the salute as the procession passed Buckingham Palace. At noon, Big Ben tolled, and actor Timothy Spall recited Churchill's 1945 victory speech. The anniversary is on May 8th, but the commemorations were brought forward due to the UK public holiday. The Cenotaph War Memorial was uniquely draped in Union flags, reportedly for the first time since 1920. Spectators stressed the importance of honoring those who died for freedom.
At least 82 journalists lost their lives in the course of their work last year, the United Nations said, as the world marked Press Freedom Day. The figures showed a 10% increase compared to 2023 and a sharp difference with the 124 reported deaths released earlier this year by the Committee to Protect Journalists, CPJ. According to the CPJ, nearly two-thirds of the murdered journalists and media workers were Palestinians covering the Gaza conflict.
الفلسطيني يعمل من الشارع، يعمل في الطرقات، يعمل في أي مكان حتى يوصل الصورة ويتحدى ويكافح من أجل أن ينقل واقع الأحداث وتطورات وجرائم الاحتلال.
اليوم جئنا هنا في الشارع نعمل في هذا المكان فقط لنوصل رسالتنا إلى العالم أجمع ونوصل رسالة هذا الشعب المكلوم إلى العالم أجمع بأن هذا الشعب يباد.
Local sources report that repeated Israeli airstrikes have destroyed the vast majority of press offices in Gaza, forcing media workers to operate from the streets or any location where commercial internet access is available. According to the CPJ, the number of conflicts globally has doubled in the past 5 years, which is reflected in the high number of deaths of journalists in many nations, including Sudan, Pakistan, and Myanmar.
Austria will not implement its controversial ban on family reunification for migrants until it has been cleared by the courts. That is what Chancellor Christian Stocker told Euronews. With this step, Vienna wants to protect the system from overloading, but critics have objected that the plan was not compatible with European law.
Wir haben Rechtsmeinungen, die uns das ausweisen, dass wir das rechtskonform umsetzen können. Ich weiß, dass es umstritten ist. Ich gehe davon aus, dass es auch gerichtlich überprüft wird. Wir werden die Entscheidung der Gerichte abwarten und uns daran orientieren.
Stocker referred to what he said were painful migration experiences of 2015 and 2022. He claimed Europe needs to learn lessons from these periods and believes illegal migration has to be reduced significantly and deportations carried out consistently.
Was wir wollen, ist, dass wenn jemand bei uns keinen Aufenthaltstitel hat und sich legal in Europa oder in Österreich nicht aufhalten darf, dass er Österreich auch wieder verlässt. Wenn nur 20%, wie wir auch heute gehört haben, von jenen, die eigentlich kein Aufenthaltsrecht haben, wieder die Europäische Union und die jeweiligen Länder verlassen, ist es einfach zu wenig. Das müssten eigentlich 100% sein. Also 100% wird man nicht leicht erreichen, aber das Ziel muss 100% sein.
In recent years, Austria has been confronted with high numbers of people seeking protection, particularly from Syria and Afghanistan. The government in Vienna says the country's systems are currently working at capacity, especially in the education, health, and social sectors.
The hard-right nationalist candidate George Simion secured a decisive win on Sunday in the first round of Romania's presidential election. Far behind in second place is Bucharest Mayor Nicu Sordan, who will face Simion in the runoff. Dan is an independent candidate who unexpectedly surpassed the coalition candidate Crin Antonescu.
Astăzi, poporul român a votat. Astăzi, poporul român a vorbit. Este timpul să fie auzit. În ciuda obstacolelor, în ciuda manipulărilor, în ciuda unei prese plătite să ne înjosească zi de zi, românii s-au ridicat.
The vote took place for a second time after Romania's top court annulled the previous election following allegations of electoral violations and Russian interference. Far-right outsider Călin Georgescu, who topped that round, is under investigation and was barred from the rerun. Romania now faces a tough battle in the second round in 2 weeks, where it will have to choose between an inward nationalist candidate and a pro-EU and pro-NATO one.